up, FHN? I'm Rachel.
And I'm Max.
And welcome back to this week's episode of The Nightly Show. Max, have you been watching The Last of Us?
No, I haven't played the games yet, and I don't know if I'll understand what's going on.
Don't worry. Allison made a video going over what you need to know about the show.
Thanks, Allison. You're a lifesaver.
Recently, there's been a lot of talk in the media about The Last of Us, a video game series turned HBO TV show. But how many people know the full story behind the franchise? How the game, remakes, and show combine to give individuals a full scope of Joel and Ellie's post-apocalyptic reality. Let's go back to the beginning. In case anyone doesn't know, The Last of Us is a third-person action-adventure game set in an apocalypse-like reality in which a mutated version of the cordyceps fungus is able to control humans. This virus, which in this world takes over the human mind, forces the afflicted to behave akin to what we would call zombies. However, infected would be a much more accurate term here. The game mainly follows the adventures of Joel, a 50-something-year-old man, and his companion, Ellie, a 14-year-old girl who happens to be immune to the virus. Joel has been tasked with smuggling Ellie out of a heavily guarded city and to a lab run by a rebel group known as the Fireflies. While playing, most of the game is from the perspective of Joel. Every now and then, there are sections from Ellie's perspective as well. This allows the player to experience the story even when Joel is not present, so instead of simply skipping time to when Joel returns, the player can learn more about Ellie and her experience. The original game was announced in December 2011 by its producer Naughty Dog, and was heavily anticipated by fans up until its release date of June 14th, 2013 on the PlayStation 3 console. The game was then remastered just over a year later, in July of 2014, to accommodate the PlayStation 4. This added a few new options to the game, such as improved graphics, advanced audio options, and higher frame rate capabilities. Additional expansions that added new difficulties and items to the game were released in the following years, as well as a DLC the following February that included 2 additional storylines. One is set after the prologue of the game, and the other is set after the winter chapter of the game. The newest version of the game is The Last of Us Part 1, which was remade for the PlayStation 5 and Windows. The entire set of graphics and visuals that were used in the original game were scrapped, and the new ones were built entirely from scratch. The new version also takes advantage of the PS5's ability to allow 3D audio, and it updated facial animations, accessibility audio and controller settings, and improved character and enemy AI. And that brings us to the most recent update in the franchise, the TV series. HBO announced the creation of The Last of Us TV adaptation in November of 2020. Filming began mid-2021 and finished just under a year later. The show was originally going to be aired in 2022, but ended up being released on January 15th, 2023. The original premiere of the show had 4.7 million views after only the first day, and 10 million after 2, making it HBO's second largest premiere since 2010. Many critics have even called the show the best live-action adaptation of a video game, praising the writing, performance, music, and production design. The show takes many quotes from cutscenes in the game, and so far, seems to be closely following the story of the original game. The first episode includes the story from the prologue, plus the beginning of the main storyline. The final episode of the season is due to air on March 12th, 2023, just under 2 months after the first episode premiered. The Last of Us franchise has engrossed millions of people for nearly 10 years, is still going strong, and doesn't appear to be slowing down anytime soon. The many different forms of the same story continue to fascinate both game enthusiasts and those who are just looking for an interesting show to watch.
Well, now I definitely feel like I should watch the show and play the game.
Yeah, I've watched YouTubers play it through, and I have to say some of the sound effects are really freaky.
Sound design is a big part of games, but I wonder how sound affects us in the real world.
Well, have you heard of sound therapy?
Yeah, you just made a video on it.
Let's give it a listen. In a world filled with stress and strong emotions, we need to find a way to heal. Therapy is a great way to go about finding coping mechanisms. In today's day and age, there are numerous different forms of therapy, including sound therapy. We all have a sad hours playlist or a playlist to hype us up. It's clear that music has some power over our mind. In fact, music therapy is one of the many forms of sound therapy. You may have seen a singing bowl if you've ever been in a metaphysical store. Those are used in sound baths. It's been described that experiencing a sound bath can have similar effects as meditation. The University of California found that meditation, by sound, noticeably decreased stress and anger. Low frequencies can help those with fibromyalgia to stand and sit without pain for a longer period of time. Ultrasound has even become a form of cancer treatment. Sound therapy isn't new. It's been used for quite a long time in East and Southeast Asia, with gongs being used in many different ways. As a rising form of therapy, music and sound guide us through our mind, so it may be a good idea to start listening to your favorite song when you're feeling down. Sound therapy sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, therapy seems pretty important for people trying to process their emotions.
For sure. Next up is Mic'd Up featuring Kendra Swope by Parker Smith.
Let's check it out.
Guys, we're mic'd up. We're ready. I miss Pitbull so much. Me too. It was so fun. I was thinking that I looked at concerts and I was like, where are the concerts this summer? I want more of those granola bars, the ones from the trainer. They were so good. The Washington Fair Nelly's coming this year. Last year they had Flo Rida. It was kind of fun. If you to say hi.
Make some shots.
He told me to make some shots, but that's not guaranteed. No, if you were in the pit, and the pit tickets aren't, so you pay to get in. I said cute Crocs to Marianne because they're ugly. She looks like a giraffe. Evie! Guys, we suck. We literally. Bro, no way we're doing this today. Slippery. I'm tired. Oh, a three-pointer seems like a lot of work. That was bad. I'm thirsty. It's so hot. I think normally I kind of just look in the general vicinity, but I was focusing on the basket. Except for that time. I wasn't looking at the basket that time, that's why. We'll be in silence. Mine doesn't, no, that doesn't work for me. My head, bro. I'm spinning. I'm spinning.
I hope to see more mic'd up features. It's cool to see into the minds of our players.
Yeah, I wonder what kind of team bonding they do. Maybe cooking?
Maybe not that, but I know Aiden Neu has been cooking quite a lot.
Yeah, he just made a video on how to make pizza.
Let's take a bite.
What's up, FHN? My name is Aiden, and today we are going to be making... We're making pizza. I'm just going to make, simple pepperoni. And we're going to make the dough from scratch. So, to start off, we need half a cup of warm water. You don't want it too cold, too hot. And we're going to take half a teaspoon of some sugar and dump that right in. And now once the sugar has, started to dissolve, we're going to take our packet of yeast. If I can open said. Modern problems require modern solutions. And then we're just going to take the yeast and dump that right in. All right, and now we're going to let this sit for about 8 minutes. So we're just going to set this off to the side. So in a medium mixing bowl, we're going to take 1 cup of some flour, and we're going to plop that into our bowl. And now we're just going to take a little bit of salt. And now we're just going to take a fork, and we're just going to mix in the salt. And at the center of our bowl, we're going to create a little well. So yeah, it's been about 8 minutes, maybe a little bit more. It's all right. And we're going to pour it directly into the center of our well. And we're just going to dump that in. And then we're going to take the fork and we're just going to start mixing. Try to form it together as much as possible. Get as much of the flour up as you can. And you really just want to mash them all together. So now you can use wax paper or parchment paper, and you want to set it down on your work surface. You want to throw some flour down on your work surface, pick up our dough, mush it together as much as we can, and just write down. This is going to be the longest part. Take some flour, throw it on top, and really just fold it in on itself, and you're just gonna be kneading the dough. I actually made this recipe in, I want to say 8th grade. For those that remember facts. Yeah, I've made this so many times, and I never remember what I'm doing. So a good tool to have when you're trying to make pizza, obviously a rolling pin. You want to take some flour, just dust it off with it, and really just go ham on the pizza. Rotate the pizza around, and just roll it out. I take the corner and I just roll it in. So now we're gonna take a little bit of pizza sauce, and we're just gonna take little globs right into the center of the dough and just spread it around like that. Take a few more. And you just want to evenly coat all the way around the pizza. So now we're going to take a little bit of cheese, and we're going to, again, right in the middle, and just go all the way around. Then just start loading it up with the toppings that you want, honestly. Alright, so after cleaning up a little bit, we're going to go over to our oven, and so we're going to preheat it to 425 degrees. Let's go ahead and start with that, and I will catch up with you whenever that's ready. So now that our oven is at 425 degrees, I've just gone ahead and moved this over to a baking sheet. This is just like my little pizza baking sheet, and we are just going to toss this in the oven. For 10 minutes. Alrighty, so it's been about 10 to 11 minutes. So we're gonna turn off our oven. And we're gonna lay down these little rubber pads so we don't burn our table. One more. Boom. Alright, now let's take our pizza out. Alright, so we let the pizza sit for a minute, and we're just gonna grab our pizza cutter, throw our mitt back on so we can pull the plate down, and we're just gonna cut right down the middle, and then just gonna cut it into 4 slices. Alrighty. Let's get the cheese back on there. Let's go ahead and give this a try. Alright. We start rating them. I think I'm gonna start rating the things that I'm cooking. I'm gonna give this a 7 out of 10. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. Can't wait to see you in the next one.
Looks great, Aiden. Hope you saved a slice for me.
That's all we have for you today, FHN.
Be sure to check out our other swaggy stores on FHNtoday.com and check out our social media and FHN Game Day.
And again, I'm Rachel.
I'm Max.
Signing off.